Good afternoon. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and this is Monday, December the 12th. We're going to do just a very short chart lesson, just to kind of follow up from our last two lessons of how to find your trend lines, put your trend lines on your paper, or on your chart, I should say, and making sure you're aware of the trend line rules and when we're in trading ranges and so forth. And today really was not a very good trading day. The trend was down for the most part early on, and really we had about an hour or so of pretty good trading this morning, and then the rest of the day was spent in a trading range. As you can see, this trading range right here, this one was pretty tight, not much going on right here. It got pretty tight again down here, so other than these few little moves out of these trading ranges, there was nothing really going on. But I did want to show you this. Here's our trend line from the overnight. I drew it off the first couple of swings of the overnight trading range. You can see how it kind of held prices right into the open here. Prices opened right in here around 8:30 this morning. Immediately went into one of these trading ranges. This has been a very common pattern the last few weeks. So if you can learn to spot this, it's done the same thing. Now, as soon as you finally figure it out, that's when it'll change on you. So you have to be careful. Don't bend the rules and just assume this is what's going to happen. But what did happen was we went into a trading range, we broke the trend line, and then what happened from there, we had two legs down to a new low, and then the market kind of we went into a trading range, but it kind of had a little weak rally out of that, and that's what the price action rules tell us. And you can see we broke the trend line right here. We had two legs down, which that's really your first leg, and then we had a little correction, which was really another trading range. And then we had our next leg down, and look, there's the next leg down, and look, it was almost to the tick. So there's your trend line break, your two legs down. So the part that's hard to know, was this the two legs before the correction, or is it going to be a bigger two legs? That part's really hard to tell, so we just have to stay with the price action rules. And once we got into this trading range, even if we didn't rally from here, that's good enough right there to be considered a correction, two-legged correction. And so then the trend could start down again. But really all we did was we made our second leg down. There's the first leg, there's the second leg down, and then we kind of rallied up out of that and ended up making a higher high than even way back in here. So overall the day was down, but you got to find these trend lines, you got to find your support and resistance, and that's really the keys to finding the key entry points that we're always talking about. But if you're paying attention and you notice this pattern, you've heard me talk about repeat patterns. When you see a pattern that happens once, if you see that pattern again, then it's very likely to end with the same result. And we've been seeing this pattern quite often lately. Whatever the trend is, we suddenly get the break in a trading range right near the open, and we get a little trap like we did here. We broke out to the high side and trapped people to the long side, and then the trend continues, and we get our two legs down to a new low, or two legs up to a new high, or whatever. But that was the best trading opportunity, and I traded for about the first hour this morning. I was done in 25 or 30 minutes, and I quit because we had gone into this stuff right here, and I just wasn't going to hang around here and piddle with it today, and I had some other business to take care of. So I spent my time taking care of other business, made me some money in the early morning, and I'll probably do that quite often during the holidays. There'll probably be days I don't even trade. The closer we get to the Christmas break, the more likelihood there will be days I won't trade, and we may not have a we may not have a chart lesson that day either. But learn to spot these trends and stay with them. But let me show you, even on these smaller trends, you usually can find your trend line. Let's just see if we can find one here. We had a small trend coming up right here, and you can see what happened. We finally broke that trend right there. We came back for a retest, and then prices sold off. So these trend line rules work. The only difference between the shorter term trend line and the larger term trend lines is that the shorter term ones, you may not get a new high or low. Generally what will happen is you'll come back and test the trend line, right? Like right here. Look, there's your trend line off those first couple swings. Prices broke it right here, but notice we still had a retest. And what prices did, they came down and they test the trend line itself and then reverse, and then it kind of reversed right there, and rallied back up to a new high. Where, and you remember on range days, what happens is every new high, swing low or swing high, is generally a chance to fade that move. And here we had a new high here. You faded it. We went down. It's really just a double bottom there, but that's as good. That's a good trade, a double bottom. And then we came up, we made another new high, and look, it was a great chance to fade it. And we came down and made another double bottom. And we came back and made a double top. This is just range rules. Start trading your range rules in here. Same thing right in here. But learn to put those trend lines on your chart, because they do show you if you know how to draw a trend line and you look for those first couple of bars or first couple of swings, and you get that break, always remember there's going to be a retest before you're probably going to have any real correction. So that was our clue this morning right here. We should have been thinking short. We weren't going long here because we'd been below this trend line most of the overnight. And this is actually a second entry short on a failed break. If you notice this, we had a double top across here. We broke higher, and very likely a lot of weak longs got trapped right there. Here's another clue. Everything's below the EMA. All night long we've been below the EMA, never been able to get above it. That's a good clue to go short. And this is just a repeat pattern of that pattern. Again, the repeat we're always talking about. So that was another reason. There's no reason to be thinking long. Even though we had a leg down or two here, you're thinking we have to get another leg at least like this before there's going to be any correction. And then we had this double top with this big bearish reversal bar. You could have gone short right there. Really, this line would have been down. You probably could have had it there, but as far as your entry, you want to make sure that you can get 4 ticks before you get to the previous low, which is down here. So even though I would have had this line drawn here, I would have been thinking, is there room to scalp out off of the going short below? Let me make this a little bigger here for you. Going short below this bar, is there room to scalp out before you get down here? And yes, there is. And so it was okay to go short right there off that double top. And again, it's a little failed break higher. Everything's still below the EMA, and there was another great trade right there. And we had a couple of those. So I was pretty much done by there. I didn't trade anything out here today. And just looking at this, you can just kind of see that we would go through trading ranges, then we'd finally have a break lower and sell off, and then it's kind of the same thing all day long. But draw those trend lines, draw your support and resistance, and hopefully you're learning something by seeing how we do this. But again, notice on the big picture here, we had our trend line off the first couple of swings of the overnight here. Of course, you did have a swing right here, and let's just see what would have happened if you would have used that. You still, you could have drawn it like that, but really, to be honest, that's too steep right down through there. And we always know that when it's too steep like that, it's generally not going to hold very long. So once we had, by the time the open came, we're way down here, and you could have easily spotted this by drawing that line. You could have seen that we bounced off that. You could have even drawn it more like that right there, but you still see that's a pretty good trend line. There really is no break of that yet. There's no green bars above it, nothing closed above it. So, and it still doesn't change the pattern. You still then had your one leg down, a little correction, and then your next leg down, and you see that's the low of the day right there. And you can see that we missed that target by a single tick right there. So learn to draw these things on here. And again, this will show you that the line doesn't even have to be exact. As long as you get it pretty close, you're still going to get the same outcome whether you drew that here or here or here. I had mine like that because we got the most touches right there and the most reversals off the line. But so what if you'd have drawn it across here? You still get the same result, or even if you'd drawn it right there, you still get the same result. So you don't have to always get the trend lines exactly right. If you're getting close and you're seeing what most of the other people are seeing, then you're still going to likely get the same outcome. So, but make sure you draw your trend lines. Make sure you stick to the rules. If you don't understand the rules, get our manual. It's $100, and you'll learn all the rules. You'll learn the trend line rules and our other entry rules. and it'll help you considerably. So this is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and I'm going to call it a day, and we will see you next time. Thanks for watching.